I would have loved to have done some like English invasion, songs, from the 80s, I'll stop the world and melt with you. I mean, that would have been fun to do something like that because that's as much a part of my musical history as anything else. So I mean, um, if I'd gone further, I would have pushed, I think, for something that would have been really really out of the box.
Throw some Duran Duran in there, maybe a
A
little
hundred
Billy
percent.
Idol.
Yeah, they're friends of mine. Billy Idol on movie night. I did ask. It's like, don't you forget about me? Why can we do that one? So, but it's I think that people don't realize that you don't get to pick from the entire pantheon of musical choices when you go on the show. That it's what they've licensed. It's if there's a theme, all of that. So the choices become a little more limited.
Do you like, I mean, since you've won two competitions and you've gotten far in the Masked Singer, like, do you like reality TV? I mean, we have Celebrity Big Brother. We have some other options here for you.
I think a lot of people have made that a career, and good for them if that's what they enjoy. But I try to pick and choose carefully to do something that I think I'm going to get something out of personally. The I'm a Celebrity thing was sort of my being a Survivor fan and going, I think I can do that. Having grown up part of the time in the Philippines and been a Boy Scout and whatnot, so and the charity aspect of it. So there was, the same thing with the cooking show. The charity aspect will always be appealing to me if I can, give some money to some worthy causes. But also that personal challenge. I think people now know that I cook, but I've cooked for most of my life, so it was a real joy. And I do that again in a heartbeat. Guy Fieri's a bud. I was supposed to do grocery games at one point, but I think that got put off. I would go back on Chopped in a heartbeat because I lost because I forgot ingredients. So I get more focused and go back and go after that.
Wow. What about, like, you have been in so many movies and TV shows that, the list goes on and on. Like, is there an actor or actress that you just, you could be friends with, or just that, like, your paths have crossed that you would just love to work with that you haven't gotten a chance to?
So many, man. It's so many, and I tend to go with actors who are in the generation previous to me. The De Niro's, the Streeps, the Pacinos. Um, I've met all of them. I'm partners with Bobby in the Tribeca Grill in New York. I was
Oh.
one of the original co-owners of that restaurant, which is still going strong. But I've never worked with him as an actor. So I mean, there are those amazing people that yeah, I would crawl through glass, to work with Sir Anthony Hopkins. I never met Peter O'Toole. I never met Katharine Hepburn. Just some of these people that were absolute icons of mine that were inspirations to me. So whenever I wish for something like that, those are the first people that come to mind.
We love a little Tribeca Grill. I had no idea you were, now I'll have to go support again. I mean, it's still going
Please
strong,
do.
like
It's
you
good, and
said.
the food is better than ever. It is fantastic.
We love it there.
Yeah.
What about, with reboots and remakes just all rampant these days? Like, if they were going to remake La Bamba and cast, Ricthie Valens today, like, who would you like to pass that torch to? Does anyone come to mind?
Wow, wow. My goodness, you'd have to, find somebody who could play 17, which wouldn't be that hard. But I mean, there's so many amazing Latino stars out there now, and we're doing Latino music. Uh, uh, they would find somebody amazing. They really would. It's interesting because Luis Valdez did a talent search, over 600 people he saw for the role of Richie, and finally settled on me, thankfully. It's it's just one of those things where that person is out there.
What do you think it is? Because people still, like you said, you sing this on The Masked Singer, people just get up. Like, the movie is still beloved by so many. Like, what do you think it is about this film that just withstands the test of time and is finding a new audience?
I mean, first of all, it wasn't trendy. A lot of the movies in the 80s were really trendy, and you can look at them and go, oh, well, that's an 80s movie. Look at the hair, look at the shoulders. The fact that this was a period piece to begin with kind of makes it timeless. But there's no doubt about it, man. It's the heart. It is the heart and the soul of that piece. And that's what Luis Valdez captured, and it's because he, founded Teatro Campesino. He was, theater of the farm worker. He understood this to the very essence of his being, and the Chicano experience, in America, and how Ricthie embodied that while simultaneously embodying the American dream. It transcends culture. It's very specific to the culture, but at the same time, it is universal, and that's why we're talking about, a lot of cultural films are getting more attention these days, because they speak to everybody. We can all relate to this, I think that's why it's sort of evergreen, because it is that joy. And it's rock and roll, man. It is the essence of being young and passionate, and so full of life, and that's timeless. That's never going out of style.
It's still such a great movie.
Well,
Final two questions as we wrap up. Like, what is next for you? Now that you've just completed The Masked Singer, like, what projects do you have coming up? Tell us everything.
oh my goodness. So I got a couple of films in the can. A movie called Year Two with Frank Grillo and Katrina Law that will be in theaters later this year, and a little movie called Et Tu that I did with Malcolm McDowell and some young filmmakers. It's ridiculous. It's another one of those. It's so out of the box and defies definition, that I hope it gets to find an audience through the film festivals or whatnot. So that's a lot of fun. And I'm going back on stage in June at Casa Manana in Fort Worth to do Miss Saigon. A little bit more directing this year, some more writing. As I said, I finished the sequel to the Tinderbox, which will be called Tinderbox Underground Movement. We'll see that earlier next year. And I'm also currently working on a novel that I wrote in college. It's actually still a good story. My writing's a lot better now than it was then, a little hint to all the aspiring writers out there. And we'll see where that goes.
You're busy.
Yeah.
Well, you are, I mean, you're very busy. As we wrap up, what advice would you give to, you have all these celebrity friends, like someone that maybe is thinking or gets a call in the future about, going on The Masked Singer? Of course you wouldn't know because it's confidential, but what advice would you give to all of them?
Do it. And it's really simple, man. Just do it, because it's fun. It's an experience. Throughout my career, I was always worried about, how this would do or how that would do or how this would be perceived. And I've gotten to the point in my life where it's like, what? The experience itself is part of the joy of what we do. We get to do these crazy things. And if you're a singer, if you're an actor, somebody who isn't known for singing, especially, it's an opportunity to do something that is surprising, that will challenge you, that is, and as I said before, the group there at the Mass Theater, they're so supportive and so kind and so warm. And as long as you kind of know what it's all about, you will have the time of your life. It's a real joy. It is.
That's such good, the journey counts for something, right?
Yes.
Well, listen, I really enjoyed watching you on The Masked Singer. Big fan of all your work. Like, this has been great. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me, and congrats on everything you have going on. And definitely feel free to stop by anytime.
Thanks so much, David. I appreciate it.
Take care.
You bet.